Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today's reminder, we want to share one of the names of Allah Azza wa Jal, and this is As-Salam, the name of peace, or the giver of peace. This is something that myself I have experienced, that throughout my youth, and the people also you will hear people actually repeat this, that whatever circumstance, situation you are in, if there's any moment in our lives we find peace, that would be the moment that when we travel into a masjid to pray. And it's the blessings from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that no matter whatever actually you do, the chaos you will have in your life, the moment you enter into the house of Allah Azza wa Jal, that you find peace, you find contentment. And this is something Allah Azza wa Jal bestows upon the believers. And one of the verses that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Surah Taha, Allah Azza wa Jal says about when the Musa alayhi salam tells the Fir'aun to allow them to take the children of Israel. And obviously we know the story how it ends, but what did he say at the end of this verse? We're gonna give you. He says, وَسَلَامٌ عَلَى مَنِ اتَّبَعَ الْهُدَى. And he says that peace be upon the one that follows the guidance. So it shows that as a Muslim, if we want peace in our lives, we have to follow the guidance of Allah Azza wa Jal. And this is something that Allah Azza wa Jal bestows upon believers, that life of contentment, life of peace. It is something that cannot be seen by people. It can only be felt by people. And we know, my brothers and sisters, that in our lives we are not going to have a situation or circumstance that we're going to have peace. Obviously, often you will hear people that doing their best in order to achieve the peace in the world, but we come to the conclusion that there can never be a peace, true peace. The peace that we are talking about, where there's people that do not fight one another because of wealth, people that do not fight with one another because of nationalism, people that fight because of the differences they may have. This is not going to be achieved on earth, and this is why the reason that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions about the peace in the future, meaning, after we die, that when the angels come down to the believer, and he gives them peace. And Allah Azza wa Jal mentions about the verses where Allah Azza wa Jal bestows on the believers all kind of riches and the fruits and various different things. And Allah Azza wa Jal tells at the end of this verse in the Surah Yasin, Salamun qawlan min Rabbin Rahim. And the peace be upon the believers, the word of peace from the merciful Lord, Allah Azza wa Jal. And this is something we have to bear in mind, my brothers and sisters, that alhamdulillah, that when we are fulfilling the duties of Allah Azza wa Jal, when we are obeying Allah Azza wa Jal, and Allah Azza wa Jal will bestow within believers the peace that no one else will have. You'll find that the people that don't pray, don't follow the commands of Allah Azza wa Jal, that disobeys Allah Azza wa Jal, you will go and speak to them, have a conversations with them. What would they tell you? Oh, my life is so difficult, I have this problem, that problem. Yeah, you will find, even though they were in a abundance of wealth, but yet because the Allah Azza wa Jal ultimate peace giver, Allah does not give that peace to them because of their disobedience to Allah Azza wa Jal. So therefore, my brothers and sisters, if you truly want peace, that ultimately we have to obey the commands of Allah Azza wa Jal, number one. And number two is that the true peace, the peace that we are actually seeking, it is not going to be available on this earth. The peace that everybody wants, where no one's fighting, no one's having wars, various different things. it's not going to be achieved, because this is the world that is a place of test. It's a place of trials and tribulations. So therefore, the ultimate peace that we are seeking is going to be available for the believers hereafter. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to bestow peace upon the believers. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.